3 boobs. That is all. Swollen testicles back here with another video. Thank you to everybody who watched my last video on Terminator 2 Judgment Day. This week on Why Did My Dad Show Me This, I'm going to be talking about the everlasting, ever-violent, epic, sci-fi action flick Total Recall from 1990, starring our boy Arnold Schwarzenegger. Remember to like, comment and subscribe, or as usual, I'll kill the family dog. Also, there is an Instagram by the same name as this YouTube channel, @CancelingCulture. You should go check it out as I put film reviews up there and other fun shit. Future stuff, future sex, future power. If you haven't seen this Arnie cult classic, you are fucking missing out. In classic Paul Verhoeven style, we get to experience a satirical outlook on the world and what it could be like. I always thought his films like the bloodthirsty RoboCop, the funny Starship Troopers, and of course this awesome film, Total Recall, were some of the most unique and entertaining interpretations of the future, and we saw a lot of them in the 80s. A lot. The social commentary on how media and corporations have taken over daily lives is something that we just don't see in films these days, but experience in the real world more than ever. It's almost funny how ironic this genre of films has become. We follow unsatisfied construction worker Douglas Quaid, whose entire world is flipped upside down when he tries to get a make-believe holiday implanted in his brain, where he is a top-secret agent on Mars. The process accidentally triggers another implant that was in his brain, restricting the real memory, creating a mental breakdown for Douglas, sending him on a course of revelations. Uncovering a conspiracy that his whole life is a lie, Douglas goes to Mars with the help of others. He joins the resistance that brings awareness of the plot to bring the population of Mars to the brink of extinction. And there's motherfucking aliens at the core of the planet, big fucking alien reactor. Everyone is dying on Mars, the citizens are mistreated, and no one seems to give a damn on Earth. All because it's outside, out of mind, just like places we know in real life. Anyway, Arnie of course gets a grip, fucks everyone up, and brings his own imaginative way of serving justice. To fully understand and appreciate the art that is 1990s Total Recall, we have to take it all the way back to 1966, to a 26-page short story by the name of We Can Remember It For You Wholesale by Philip K. Dick. It was from an issue of magazine of fantasy and sci-fi. This was the true inspiration for the film. Producer Ronald Shusett brought out the rights for this story, and with the help of Dan O'Bannon, who you might remember from my last video on Alien, they began writing what would become Total Recall. With the original story being, well, a short story, O'Bannon was only able to squeeze a 30-page script, meaning that they had to come up with an original and second act for the film. The two writers argued over how the story should go. Following the huge success that was Alien, Shusett managed to secure a development deal at Disney. He tried to pursue Total Recall, but the property was sold in 1982 to Lauretis Entertainment Group, better known as DEG. Then, legendary director David Cronenberg was chosen by DEG in 1984 to direct. However, problems still remained over the direction of the third act and which position it would take. Cronenberg would then spend a year writing 12 separate drafts. That's quite impressive, but Shusett and De Laurentiis were disagreeing with Cronenberg on the tone of the movie because they did not want it to be serious like 1982's Blade Runner. When it came to casting their leading man, Quaid, some famous names were thought of, such as Christopher Reeve, Jeff Bridges, and Harrison Ford. Each person would have done an amazing job, but personally I would have loved to see Harrison Ford in the role. Eventually, the incredibly charming Patrick Swayze was cast as Quaid, but tragedy struck. Not when he died, but during the set construction in Australia in 1988, DEG filed for bankruptcy. Approximately 80 crew members were fired and the sets had to be destroyed. By this point, the project had already accrued $8 million in pre-production costs and $6 million in turnaround costs, a process allowing other studios to purchase the rights. Around this time, there was a particular giant Austrian making his name in Hollywood, Arnold Schwarzenegger, after success one after another with huge 80s hits such as Conan, Commando, and The Terminator. Arnie was beginning to have more influence in his movies than anyone before. He heard about Total Recall's production and he wanted to be part of it. Taking the role from Swayze and bringing more creative control, he was able to convince Carico Pictures to purchase the rights to the script. Again, you might recognize that studio name from last week's episode on Terminator 2, where Arnie also convinced them to purchase the rights to an intellectual property. The film started its second go at filming in April 1989 and lasted approximately 20 weeks. The film was shot almost completely in sequence, which is rare for a film to do so. With an initial budget of $30 million, somehow they managed to bump it up to the reported $45 to $80 million. It made, drumroll please, $261.4 million, which is a fucking lot of money. It had mixed critical and commercial reviews. Now, what do I really think about this movie? Well, I think it's an ingenious way to tell a story that could very easily be a mediocre one. The 2012 reboot of this very film is an example of that very factor. Paul Verhoeven manages to create a unique story that potentially has two outcomes. Either the plot, as I previously mentioned, is a man who goes to get a memory implant only to reveal that he's been a secret agent the whole time. But there's a theory online that Quaid was and never will be a real spy. People believe that Quaid is actually a boring construction worker and nothing more. All the events that we see before he goes to recall are in fact true and part of his real life, and everything after is actually part of the memory that he went for in the first place. And I think that it's a trick on the audience, try and bring them into the movie more than they ever knew. And yeah, that's about it. Well, that's the video. Hope you learned something new. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. Who's to tell? Honestly, thanks so much for watching. Remember to like, comment and subscribe. Tell your friends about my shitty videos. And yeah, adios.